Welcome back to the channel, buddy, and I hope you're doing fine. Today we're gonna talk about DESALLE. It's finally back, or well, it will be back tomorrow, but today we're gonna discuss all the changes. I visited every single compound, and I will show you the biggest changes. Now, there are also a few little changes, you know, maybe a destroyed card here and there between the compounds, but we're gonna focus on the compounds today. So first, discuss that, and then at the end, a little honest review of DESALLE. Okay, and then let's start with our first compound, Ash Creek Lumber. Now, there's already a new ramp, so when you're coming from the south side, you can access now the top part of the building without too many troubles. The north side got a ladder added, this one right here, so you can access the slide door now and push also from the north side. So it's easier now to push the boss lair from the south and north side. And then remember this long corridor of death where sometimes you got stuck when people were shooting at you? They added now this vault window here. So when you're stuck here, you can now vault outside, you will take minimal fall damage, and it gives you a nice little exit path. Not a lot of changes, but the changes that they made will hopefully improve the PvP around the boss lair. Then, first Testimonial Church. And I have to say, this is one of the compounds that didn't get a lot of changes, like basically none. They just transferred it to the 2.0 engine. And I find this one a little bit of a missed opportunity because you have all these top parts of the graves. And I think it would have been nice to put a few sandbags here and there, a few fortified locations, that you're not always a sitting duck while being on these graves. Forked River Fishery got 2 changes, and this one right here is actually outside of the compound. That is the northwest side, so facing Pelican Prison. And you can now go up this ramp to this destroyed ruin, and you get a bit more cover while shooting at the boss lair. So I think we will get a little bit more PvP now between the boss lair and these ruins, so not everything focuses in the compound. Although, to be fair though, there were already a lot of people shooting from the northwest forest. And they also apparently lowered these pipes here a little bit to get better lines of sight around the basin. And oh boy, Fort Bolden got a few changes. When you go to the main building from the east, we have now an extra rooftop building. And this is a perfect addition because when you were walking across the eastern roof from the boss lair, you were always super exposed. Now let's go into the basement. Basement itself, or the tunnel, didn't change much. Only at the end they placed now a little bit more cover. So you can peek out of the tunnels without being crazy exposed. And then let's go back into the main boss lair where you have the ramp. You can now go in the back and go up the tower of Fort Bolden. It gives you a little bit more view to the northwest part, the west part. So when people are fighting at the walls, you can shoot at them from a somewhat safe position. But I personally think that the change to the east is the most important one, that this walkway is easier to cross so you can do smoother transitions. Next up is Heritage Park, and it is a little bit similar to First Testimonial Church. Keep in mind I always show you just a few snips from the actual recording that I did, because otherwise this video would be too long. I didn't see any major changes except for the courtyard. The courtyard got a few elements added for extra cover. And I think that's a perfect change, because fighting in the courtyard never felt good. Now let's visit Kingsnake, and I'm not 100% sure anymore about all the changes that they did because it's been such a long time. Maybe they changed this roof here a little bit to give you a bit more cover. You can enter now this walkway here by dropping down, or you just vault through the window to access the boss lair. In general, they reworked all the entry paths. If it's better now or worse, we will have to see. One crazy change though, and this might sound a little bit weird though, we don't have the metal slide door here anymore. So you can push now from the west side quickly because there is no more crank that you have to turn, and you can just beeline right into the boss lair. So people will have to be extra cautious while doing the boss. Especially veterans, because they might not expect a quick push from that side. Now always keep in mind that these rock plateaus around the lair are always good for some intense PvP. Then there is one more change when we go to the northeast side of the compound. And let's see how quickly I can reach the main boss lair from here. So they added these planks here, easier access on the roof, and with a little bit of parkour, although to be fair you will be very exposed, you can go for a quick boss lair rush. Now when it comes to the basement, there were very often two doors here that were barricaded, so I hope they stay away because they were annoying. The only disappointing thing is down here, yeah, that is still closed. Lower DESALLE, the saloon shootout city. Now they added some cover throughout the city, especially here at this intersection. And on top of that, they made some modifications when it comes to some details, which are nice, especially since there's also the Port Sulphur band. But when it comes to big changes, rearranging buildings and stuff like that, Lower DESALLE has none of them. I mean, duh. Can't optimize something that is already perfect. Upper DESALLE had a similar fate. Again, there are some changes, a broken cart here and there, maybe a tree added, some foliage. Nothing too crazy though. And of course, I had to check the bank vault. Hopefully you can open this now. But yeah, this is still something that we cannot interact with, which I personally think is a shame. Otherwise, lower and upper DESALLE don't have any crazy changes. Moses Poultry got a new building added though, in the southwest area of the compound. So the rocks where you had to roleplay as a Skyrim mountain goat got removed. So moving around that area is way better now. And the west side of the building got more rocks removed, and they swapped that with hay bales. You also have a ramp here to get up quickly, which is freaking nice because you always had to run north first and then back up west if you wanted to get up quickly from down there. So yeah, I like the changes a lot to Moses Poultry. I think the east side is mostly unchanged or had only minor tweaks. Now let's talk about Pearl Plantation. That was one of the compounds that I really dislike is maybe a strong word, but I was not looking forward to have PvP here. And just entering this compound from the southeast side. So you have now here way more cover, because very often you got shot out of the windows from the boss lair when you try to enter from that location. And the ramp that went upstairs is now on the south side and not on the north side anymore. And jumping into Pearl Plantation? Hell, goddamn, that changed a lot. So the whole floor is gone. You cannot go outside anymore from this area. The walkway still exists, you just have to rotate from a different side. And the whole inside is crazy. I almost want to say cluttered. There's so much stuff giving you more cover, and I think I like it. Because if I remember correctly, there was a lot of cloth hanging from the ceiling. Whenever there's PvP with just fabric hanging from the ceiling, people will very often just spam through it and try to get a lucky shot. So I think adding solid cover into the building was a good choice. Now, as I mentioned already, the northern part does not have the ramp anymore. And I think they opened up a few windows on the walkway here to let you peek as a defender when people approach your compound. Okay, let's go to the MVP of DESALLE, and that's gonna be Pelican Prison. Now, first of all, when we check the north part of the compound, you can see the big tree is gone, basically burned down. But right here you have so many more ladders. There was previously only a ramp going up there. But I think the craziest change is easily the west side. I mean, just look at this. They completely reworked how everything looks here. They added these stairs so you can get an extra level up here. And there was a wooden barracks before. They changed it now to this brick house. Have fun getting sniped in the back though while you're up here. And just the whole vibe, the extra gates, the flag, and wow, they just ripped out the whole wall here on the west side. So you can push now this boss compound with 0 obstacles. No door that you need to open, no slide door, no window, no metal gate, nothing. You can just push in there. Inside I only saw a few minor tweaks, but nothing too significant. But checking the south side is wow. So they changed the stairs here. You can now, I think, also rotate around the whole corner of the building here with this walkway. And when we go into the courtyard here, the wall is gone. They added more cover into the courtyard with the sandbags. They even added an extra area with brick walls where you can hide. And I like that way more than that metal cage that they had here before. And to get up here quickly, they added now an elevator. Now, I personally think that elevators are always a little bit of a death trap, but I think it fits the vibe of the compound a lot. We will get, hopefully, some crazy good PvP here. Can't wait to try that tomorrow. Next up we have Quarry, and the biggest changes are the north side of the compound. Remember this building here northwest of the main building? They added now this fallen tree. So you can access this building now through the destroyed roof, and you have an extra siege position now facing the boss lair. Then I checked out Seven Sisters, and honestly, no critical changes that I found. They did change a few things here and there to increase the fluff. And sure, with the new engine changes, everything looks a little bit different. And the vibes changed a bit, especially in the cornfield. This poor fellow over here definitely agrees. I don't know how impactful that change will be though for future PvP fights. Let's visit Shipyard next. And Shipyard got only one change at the northeast corner of the boss compound. And this is this little walkway here. So you can rotate here now. With a little drop point here. And that is nice because whenever you want to rotate around that corner, you basically had to drop down and you were a little bit trapped there. So making that corner a bit more accessible definitely feels nice. You can now also vault on that thing just straight out of the window here. And they added this plank here to give you now an extra attack point. So you can take the slide door, you can take the plank, and you can take the basement entry whenever you attack from the west side. Then let's check out Stanley Coal. So we have this right here. And it's one of these compounds that didn't change much, but the changes that they did will definitely have an impact when it comes to attacking and defending the boss lair. What I mean with that is, the veterans probably remember this, right here you had a metal crank door. And again, it's just a regular slide door. So way harder to defend. You can also do a little bit parkour here, the northwest side of the compound. And you can enter this now through this little balcony. The drop hole still exists, and I would say we check out the last change for the compound. That's this east-southeast corner here, where they added now another ramp. Feels good, honestly, for PvP, for pushing and everything. I want to see as little ladders as possible and more ramps. because nobody likes getting shot while being on a ladder. And if you do, don't you worry, no king shaming on this channel. Let's check out the last compound, and that's gonna be Weeping Stone Mill. And again, nothing too crazy except the northwest area of the boss lair. If I remember correctly, this pipe here did not exist. So all these 3 windows now can be accessed over this pipe. It feels a bit awkward when you have to pass the pipe, you have to vault over there, so maybe they should have put the pipe under the roof and you can just walk from the pipe on the roof, so you have nothing weird up there that you need to vault over, but otherwise that is pretty sweet. More access points for the attacking team should in theory also mean that you have less stalemates. I checked the rest of the compound, but besides a few cosmetic details, it all seems pretty vanilla. Okay, so now we talked about all the changes, and I have to say, at first glance, it looks meh, honestly. Because there are still a lot of compounds that didn't get a single change. But on the other hand, adding all this foliage, making everything fit together, over the whole map, that was a lot of work. And when you go through the map, you will feel that. Now, we have just, I would say, prison is probably the biggest changer in the game right now. That will be crazy and will probably have, well, defender's advantage will be huge because you have so many high ground areas and attacking from the west will be difficult. But I can't wait to try that out. So overall, they did a good job. I hope, though, that over the next couple of months, we will continuously get updates for the maps. Maybe a little bit of a twist here, a little bit of a twist here, you know, to keep the PvP fresh. Because suddenly new rotation paths open up per Plantation, for example. Just adding the ramp to the other side will already, for the veterans at least, give a different feeling. Alright. Let me know what you think about DESALLE in the comments below. Also, a little like for support would be much appreciated. Don't forget, tomorrow the event starts. I'm gonna be live like crazy for drops and everything. And I hope I see you there. As always, I just want to use this moment to say thank you for my patrons. You guys, as always, some of you are with me since forever. That's how it feels like. So you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Twitch.tv/Psychoghost. Let's see if we break a new record when it comes to my stream time. And I hope you say hi tomorrow. I'll see you next one. Until then, have a good day and bye-bye.